based on the global financial crisis, let me repeat, based on problems in other economies and the rest, you don't rush because one bank was closed, Lehman Brothers, and another one in the US during the global financial crisis. The effects and the ramifications were so severe that no banks were made to fail in the US. The same thing happened in the UK, the Royal Bank, which was, halfway between liquidation, today is operating, right? And again, the EU, the Americas and everything decided that they have to assess the impacts of bringing down banks. And so if a bank is functioning, then one has to take his time to see whether the bank can be salvaged, which is exactly, by the way, some of the banks you say, were healthy or are healthy today, or as of 2017, they benefited from the 2.2 billion restructuring and the 250 million cash injection. Why do I say that?
You're talking about the GATT?
No, I'm talking about the measures we took. I told you that
which banks,
with 215, excuse me, I'm saying that with 215 million cash injection and the strongest love flows, we refinanced 2.2 billion of VRA's debt, energy sector debt.
Okay.
It was with 13 banks, including some of the strongest banks
How
that
many
we have
of them?
today. I said 13 banks.
And
for that reason, excuse me, I'm saying, let's take our time to
take it easy, Mr. Terkper. Take it easy. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Yeah. So the interventions maybe would, so that I don't lose my train.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm saying that some of the banks which are said to be strong today, right,
benefited,
are strong because they had ESLA injections, not just in 2016. But if you take the ESLA report, and we don't have much time, but if you take the ESLA report, which I have here, it tells you that they continued to enjoy ESLA injections until the ESLA bond was, floated in 2018.
My only
so
question
they
to
may
you,
be
if you would allow me, my only question to you, Mr. Terkper,
yes.
Are all these 13 banks still functioning?
The majority are functioning.
How many?
Please, I don't have the list.
You don't
but
have
I
the
can
list.
assure
Okay.
you that, based on the, some are not functioning. Some are certainly,
That's just what I wanted to get.
Some are failed.
Okay.
Yes, some are among those, which have been liquidated.
So, Mr. Terkper, so an
yes.
NDC government that saw the financial situation of UT Bank and Capital Bank, banks that were practically insolvent, were illiquid, and had a negative capital adequacy ratio, would you have saved them?
I give you the example. I said that when a bank gets to the situation where it cannot be saved, right, then you take action. But you take action mindful of the consequences of your action. So, for example...
You've not answered the question, Mr. Terkper. Based on the situation I presented to you, UT Bank, Capital Bank, illiquid, insolvent, a negative capital adequacy ratio, would you have saved that bank? And tell me, then you can tell me about, the consequences.
I am saying that the report that is being followed and its updates were commissioned. Various recommendations were made in that report, and we were following that report.
Did that include, the shutting down of some banks?
Of course, yes. There were recommendations. I'm saying the same report is being used and it's updated.
But people within your own administration have criticized the central bank's move. They said they've been, they've been high-handed in the way they've handled the banks into the crisis.
No, excuse me, because people in government and unfortunately public servants, right, have also accused us of not doing anything. And I'm just telling you that I'm just giving you examples of what we did. And I'm saying that the strength of funds that is being used, in any case, which is a ESLA, which we had said will last 3 to 5 years, has been extended to 7 to 10 years. It is bringing in, and let me quote the official report, so you understand what we are. And by the way,
so ESLA was going to resolve all the challenges.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, but everything you've talked about has been ESLA.
No. I don't know you're being fair with me.
Okay.
I just told you, that we did restructuring.
Okay.
Yes, I just told you, that the governance issues were, yes, on the table.
The governance
right?
issues,
yes.
for instance.
So they were on the.
Okay, you go ahead, and then I'll come back to the.
So I am saying that 3.2 billion on average, going to increase to projected to increase to 4.4, a total of 30 billion, approximately. That's 29, billion by 2022. Just around the corner is what we are expecting to flow from ESLA. At least we are told today that the cost, and if, as you said, the work on ESLA, the work on the restructuring has come to a close, which it shouldn't be, because even the advanced countries are reeling with their 10-year restructuring. Anyway, I'm saying that if we are going to continue, then the bedrock is going to continue. And if we are at 15, billion, that tells you, of course, it's not everything here that is, some are for institutional strengthening, but the road levy, which is for clearing arrears, which we use part, again, to pay contractors and their banks. So it's not just, we use part of it to restructure toll debt, which today is not being done. So these are the uses. So the systemic energy problems and they were resolved. So I'm saying that if you look at the preeminent, if you need funds for the restructuring, right? If you need funds for the restructuring, then you would see the strength of the flows. By the way, we were of the belief that given this, the strength of these flows, right, we were not going to mainstream this revenue, and there will be no need to borrow again. At the moment, this revenue is being mainstreamed, and we are borrowing, for the banking sector restructuring, right? At the strength, this is official projections which I am quoting. So let me recap. The notion that we didn't do anything, by the way, another action to tell you that it's not just, ESNA, we passed most of the banking laws that are being used today.
The deposit protection.
The deposit insurance, the deposit protection insurance, the Bank of Ghana Act itself is major revision that strengthens the independence of the settlements and all. Yes, and
central government.
The forex, and we took about, I stand for correction, 3 to 4, banking, laws together with the PFM Act, the Revenue Acts and whatever, about 12 laws for the financial and public sector.
So, Mr. Terkper, what you're saying is that you have no difficulty at all with the actions taken by the central bank. Safe to say that they have suggested that your government didn't do anything about the situation.
No, I am saying that if you go back again into our history, right, and this is what I'm saying. For example, we had a non-performing assets recovery trust, which is what you call a bad bank. And in fact, if you look at the restructuring that we did, right, which is to use ESNA to take off non-performing loans, right, ring-fence them, and then use ESNA to pay over time. That is 3 to 5 years. Means that you have created, you have ring-fenced the non-performing loans, you have put them in what you call the non-performing, and then the collection of those loans, right, non-performing loans, will continue as they are continuing today by the liquidators and others, right? It would continue. But you will save jobs. But you would, you will save jobs.
Okay.
You will save investments. As you are.
At the moment, have we lost anything?
Pardon?
Have we lost anything at the moment?
Of course. Employees at home. Right? I'm not sure that, I don't think we are being sensitive to that. There are employees at home who have lost their jobs. Right? There are depositors who have not been paid. A lot. From the universal banks to the savings and loan, down to the microfinance companies, there are depositors who have not been paid. If you look at the 2019, budget, the depression in the financial sector is leading the financial sector and the services sector. Let me finish my thought.
No, please allow me. Please allow me. You were talking about.
You asked about the cost.
You're talking about what ESLA was going to do to help service the non-performing loans within the banking industry. Now,
I thought you didn't want us to draw too much on
hold on,
so you pose a question.
Hold on, please hold on.
Yes.
Even before ESLA, some banks have received liquidity support. You have told me that some of the banks that are doing well today, which include the 13 banks, received support from ESLA.
And they continue to receive ESLA funds today. That's the point I'm
But
making.
you have also said that amongst the 13 banks, we've had some banks that have been closed down.
Of course, yes.
So the liquidity support in itself was not the only solution to resolving the crisis.
Yeah, but you do have, why are you emphasizing on the banks that have collapsed? Why are you not emphasizing the benefit to the economy? Or excuse me.
Because many more have collapsed.
No, please.
Okay.
No, you don't have the statistics. You and I don't have
but you
the
also don't have the statistics.
Yes,
I asked you out of the 13, you couldn't give me the number.
No, if the synopsis had addressed it, right, I would have brought it. And also, I'm being prudent also in mentioning names here.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But you did mention some.
Okay.
You didn't mention the ones that failed. You haven't mentioned the ones that are standing.
But can we agree that the financial support was not going to be the panacea to the crisis that we had in the banking industry?
It is not. I just listed for you that we even took action on laws. Right? And I just told you also that we conducted the review. So
the asset quality review.
Of course, yes.
Do you feel ashamed that the then running mate to the president, Dr. Bawumia, had consistently used the crisis within the banking industry as a campaign against your government?
Why should I be ashamed?
That today he feels vindicated.
Vindicated?
He does feel vindicated.
The nuisance tax is still in place. Remember? ESLA was described as a nuisance tax, right? And remember, we do not have the sort of mayhem that was predicted. I just told you that the majority of banks, right, looking at the ones that have been liquidated, the majority or the quality of the banks that came to the table, the majority of banks that benefited are still operating. And they're operating.
Oh, today you're saying majority. Out of the 13, you initially said you didn't have the figures. Now you say majority.
No, I don't have the figures.
But now you say majority of the 13 because you told me 13 benefited.
I said, please, if you could listen, I said based on some of the banks you were citing and the ones I know which have been consolidated, which have been collapsed, right? I am saying that the majority of those 13 banks, are operating, today.
Do you think there was any political motivation at all in the actions taken by the central bank?
I think you address that to the governor.
Do you think so?
I think you can address that to the governor. If we can.
Do you think some of the banks that were shut down did not deserve to be shut down?
Well, let me address the question right this way. If you have two groups of banks, right, and you are using GATT, which is going to be based on pensions for me and you, right, and guarantee, right, which two of us could pay, could be held, through taxes, right? If you use those mechanisms to protect banks which are still in the hands of certain shareholders, but you fail to use that mechanism, right, to protect other shareholders, then you expose yourself to some of the charges.
So you think the central bank was not fair in that action? It was not exactly fair in all its actions it took?
I don't think you should be pushing me.
No,
I'm not the governor.
No, because you have just said.
You asked me a question.
No, because you have just said.
No, excuse me. You asked me.
Mr. Terkper, are you scared of saying it as it is?
No. The last time I was here, a headline was given that I took responsibility. I don't want to be personal about this.
Okay.
And I'm saying that I'm giving you the basis on which, because as I said, I do read. Okay. And I'm giving you the views of the public, which I think should be adequate. Okay. And I'm saying that if you use a mechanism, one mechanism, right, to save a group of banks whose shareholders are still holding those shares today through the mechanism of GATT, through the mechanism of consolidation and others, right? But you fail to use that mechanism, right, to address the problems of other banks, including those that were downgraded, right, and which could have been operating within the 15 million, right, and the 200. Remember, there's a big gap And I would hope that we'll have time for solutions, because I think, as I said, I would have wished, because what we are talking about, it has been repeated.
Let's talk about the solutions.
Yes. One of the solutions, right? So I'm saying that you open yourself, if I may finish that thought.
Okay, do.
So that's when you open yourself to the charge of discrimination, right?
And do you believe they've discriminated?
I'm stating the facts. What I believe is immaterial. I think we are pursuing public policy. Let's be mindful. Now what we are pursuing is public policy. And let us discuss public policy. Let us not personalize, because that is what is muddying the waters. Let us discuss public policy. And among